Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. Now, since we did the sourdough bread and sourdough starter from scratch video, in fact, I just finished that this morning. My loaf of bread's sitting right over there. I'm going to show you how to make sourdough granola. And the reason it's called sourdough granola is because we used our sourdough starter in the mix to toss our dry ingredients in because it makes it clump together better. It also gives a little bit of a tangy flavor to it. It's not an offensive flavor. It's just a really, really good sourdough flavor. So we're going to get started right away. I have a big giant bowl, a spatula, and we're going to start putting ingredients in. And the first thing we want to put in is a little bit of coconut oil. And we're just going to put about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil in there. If you'd rather have butter, you are welcome to use that. This is just 100% fat, and it's not going to make anything mushy. So I'm good with that. Now we'll have to heat this up on the stovetop to get it melted. We'll try to fast forward through that. Next ingredient is some honey. This obviously is not the container that it came in, but I buy it in a bucket that has a little bit of a smaller neck on it, and I don't want it to crystallize and not be able to get it out of there, so I just put it in this big container right here. We're going to put about, I don't know, maybe half a cup of honey. There are no exact ingredients in this at all. It's just up to you and however you like it. If you want it sweeter, you can put more honey in it. Now my ingredients, none of these other things contain sugar at all. So no processed sugar in this. This is our only sweetener other than we have dates. And dates are naturally sweet. They're used as a sweetener in a lot of foods, so we do use dates in it. And here is our sourdough starter. This is the one we kept using for our discard jar. So I'm going to wait until I get this heated up. I'm going to turn my burner on my stove top. And we'll let that coconut oil dissolve real quick. So we're going to put our starter in there. I also want to give you an idea of what else we have in this. In this container I have, and it's about, it's about 1.5 cups of these, so I'd say about 1/3 of a cup each of these. We have dried cranberries. These are from Trader Joe's. Non-GMO whole almonds. These are not salted almonds. Those are just plain almonds. And the cranberries I chopped up a little bit with a knife. These are just pitted dates, and I used kitchen shears to chop those up. These are dried mangoes. These are really good as a snack too. I used kitchen shears. These are a little hard to cut, but they're worth it. But I cut them in little tiny pieces, and I'll show you what that looks like. These are just the pieces of dates and the cranberries and the little lighter colored ones in here. These are the dried mangoes. It looks like little pieces of wood chips. So that's our container of those parts. And then I have, here's the almonds. I chopped those up with a knife. And then these are pumpkin seeds. And those came from Natural Grocers. Here's what the package looks like. We also have kamut. This actually starts out as a big bag like this, relatively inexpensive. It's an ancient grain, and these are one of my favorite ingredients in there. I love the kamut. It tastes kind of like puffed wheat, I guess. I mean, puffed wheat is what it is. It tastes like puffed rice. I used old-fashioned oats. I'm going to put some almond extract in there. And then we have unsweetened coconut flakes. We'll also be putting some chia seeds in there, perhaps some hemp seed, and I'm trying to think of what else. Usually I just kind of go, I'll put some of that in there too and throw it in. So I usually put some kind of berries, some kind of nuts, the oats, the puffed wheat, coconut, honey, sourdough starter, and coconut oil. I'll put a little bit of salt in there too. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands because I got honey on them. You're also going to need a big baking sheet This one I keep up in the top of the cabinet, and I just use this over and over. This has a giant piece of parchment on it. You'll need the parchment because it's just easier to clean up afterwards. I will have the full written out recipe in the description of this video if you want to make it exactly like this, but please, by all means, feel free to change it up. I put allspice and sometimes cinnamon in mine. Sometimes I change it up and use cardamom. Last time I used cardamom, I actually had orange peel in it last time, and it was really, really good. That added a lot of good flavor. I have some organic oranges, and every time I decide to eat one, I go ahead and wash it and then use the zester, zest it up, and put that orange zest in a jar in the freezer. So I just put some of that in there last time, and it turned out really nice. All right, I'm going to put this down here. I'll tilt this camera down so you can see what I'm adding to it. You don't need to see me, you need to see what I'm making. I have just a little bit of cardamom left, so we're going to use that. And as my reminder to pick up some more, I'll put the bag over there by my shopping list. That looks like about a half teaspoon. So I have ground cardamom. I'm also going to put some allspice in there. If you don't know what allspice tastes like, go to a store, and if they sell it in bulk, just kind of smell it. Take the lid off and smell it, and that's exactly what the taste is like. It's very warm, earthy flavor. All right, I'm going to get my orange zest out again and use that. This is straight out of the freezer. Going to use a chunk about like that. Maybe a little bit more. Ooh, not that much. And it turns your hands orange. I'm going to put the almond extract in there early on. Oh, that smells really good. Almond extract has the fragrance of cherries, or cherry pie. So if you like that smell, then you would like the taste of almond extract. Okay, that's basically what we're looking at here. I'm going to put my sourdough in there. And that's probably about 3/4 of a cup right there, which is fine. I try to add the smaller things early on. Oh, I'm going to turn my oven on too. Let's see, 325. Put a couple of teaspoons of chia seeds in there. Almost looks like a slimy gravy here. But I like the fact that it makes the granola stick together in clumps. And our doggies love eating granola. Anytime my husband gets out the granola, they start making this boofing noise, and they're wanting his attention because they want some of it. Now, we don't mind giving it to our dogs as long as there's no raisins in it, because they're not supposed to have raisins. That is pretty bad for dogs. Raisins and grapes are not something dogs are supposed to have, so I steer clear of putting raisins in it, even though I really like raisins. All right, I'm going to put the almonds and pumpkin seeds in there. And this is the dates, cranberries, and mango, all chopped up. We're going to add some coconut. Looks like about half to 3/4 of a cup of coconut. And this is unsweetened coconut. But keep in mind, again, nothing in this has sugar in it. But if you don't mind the sugar, then by all means, stuff's pretty easy to find that is covered in sugar. You can get blueberries, raspberries, all kind of dried fruit with sugar in it. It's just a lot harder to find it without the sugar. And my favorite places to go to find things are Natural Grocers and Trader Joe's. Seem to have a pretty good selection. Sometimes the big store in our town does, but not always. They'll carry something and then I'll go back to get it again and they won't have it. All right, this is my favorite ingredient, so I usually add quite a bit of it. So about 3 cups of the kamut. And the doggies think they need some too. They love that stuff as much as I do. Toss this around. And we're going to add our oatmeal. About 3 cups of oatmeal. Ideally, you want to get some of that wet part on every bit of this in there, so don't leave any little dry sections or it just won't clump together very good. All right, let's get our pan over here. We'll empty this out in here. Try to spread it out as evenly as you can. If there's going to be a thicker part, just make sure it's not in the center. That part, the edges will brown first. So if you're going to err on the side of thicker, I would put that on the edges instead of in the center. I've been known to take it out of the oven, put it in a container, and just leave the center of the pan with granola on it and put it back in the oven to bake again. Now, once you turn the oven off, you can leave it in there indefinitely to kind of crisp up. But at 325, it's not going to burn if it just keeps sitting in there, I don't think. Mine has never burned. Now, my husband did say he definitely noticed a different flavor to it. It wasn't as toasty tasting if I took it out because I had to put something else in the oven. But generally, I just turn the oven off after about 40 minutes and just let it stay in the oven to crisp up. Okay, and this is what our granola looks like before it goes in the oven. We have our oven set at 325, and I don't even think it's preheated yet, but that's okay. You can put it in there. I'll set the oven for 40 minutes. And then when that gets done, we'll come back and we'll show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. Okay, this is our granola fresh out of the oven. Now I'm going to place this back in the oven, but I just wanted to show it to you. Show you what it looked like when it first came out. And it's flexible right now, but just the least little bit it cools off, it's going to get crunchy, and you can break it up into pieces. So I'm going to stick this back in the oven. I'll let it cool down with the oven. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to sharing something with you again real soon. Bye.